laptops as well as on our iPads, we have a program called Smart Notebook. The Smart Notebooks are useful because they can be used to design lessons that students can represent and communicate their thinking independently when working within, say, math rotations in a primary level. When looking on the iPads, one of the great things about them is we are able to open up into our Google Drive now, and we're able to open up the notebook so that when you are designing something, you can design it on your laptop, and you can choose to open and copy to notebook. When using Smart Notebook, we can see here that some of the tools that are going to be useful for the younger years is really being able to use the drawing tools to record and organize their ideas. If the teacher has already designed a lesson or an activity for them and they've had some experience with this tool, they will be able to go in and be able to develop some of their ideas using these tools on an independent level. However, there is a need to be able to show the students some of the things, some of the ways to navigate around prior to them being able to work with this independently. When taking a look, we know that in grade 1, that students are asked to represent their thinking using primary data. So a pictograph may be one way that they can organize their ideas. So a teacher can then go in and be able to put in some images and being able to put in the learning goals and being able to record the sound.
A pictograph uses pictures to represent data. Below, you can see a pictograph. What do you think it's collecting? I can see fruits.
So just pause that. So that's an idea that we can put in the learning goals and we can put in, an intro where they can go in independently and being able to listen to what it is on the page, especially if their reading level is quite low. This can help scaffold some of their learning along the way. If the teacher is then busy with a guided math group, the students can be using tools within here to be successful. And it's really simple. It's a matter of being able to press on to whatever it is you may want to collect the sound with. So if I'm pressing on this image up top here, you see that on the iPad I have an object actions that come up, and I can add my sound and I can begin recording. And as I begin recording, both on the laptops and on the iPad, it's about a minute of time that it gives you. And once you're done recording, you press stop, you add it, and you can see that there's a little microphone that's then added here. So that piece there, students, once they've had some experience, they'll understand that they can press these little icons and it will give them some information as to what they're supposed to do, or even when they're reading the questions, if they're unsure as to what it is it's saying, they can go and then press it and be able to be successful, not really needing the whole being 100% able to read. They can go in and still be able to complete what they understand in their math knowledge. Looking here, I've designed some pictures in which the students can manipulate and drag down. So you can see here which fruit has the fewest votes. The students can use the image up above and then take their icon and drag it into the spot. Also, with using primary data to design a pictograph, you can include tally charts already in there in which students can then go and design the pictograph using the icons provided. The one great thing about Notebook as well is that when we press down on the images, it also gives you that idea of an infinite cloner. The infinite cloner allows the students to grab as many of that picture as they want. So once I do that, I can then use the tally chart and see that there's 5. And the students can then represent that they understand how to collect the information into a pictograph, as well as the ability to read the tally chart and organize the primary data supplied. The other good thing about this is students can also use it to collect information if they're doing surveys. So you could do this with students using the iPads as a whole class, going around asking questions. Or students can then be within an independent group, and if they're working on developing the survey, they can go and ask, all depending on how the teacher sets it up and at what level the students are, as well as at what level they're able to independently complete an activity. The other good thing that you can do is you can take snapshots of the icons. So especially at a younger level, you can then use the tools to say that they would need to use a pen for this, as well as giving them information with sound.
Use the pen icon at the top of the notebook to record the number of students that are in your.
So it gives them an idea here so that they know that they'd have to go down, touch on the pen. They would have had this experience previous to, and they could write in the number of students. Also understanding that when they are needing to go and press the icons up here, that they should be pressing the select tool that you see down at the right. So it leads them. So really the idea of giving them visuals and sound and icons that they can already manipulate in order to demonstrate their thinking when it comes to collecting information. Same thing I would do here. I would make sure that they were on infinite cloners, and students can pull down as many as they need to when voting. So the one thing you want to know is when you do design this, if you're designing it on the iPad or on a laptop, you do want to be able to share the file that you create. So as I said in the beginning, the one way that I found useful, and in my school iPads, we were using the Google Drive. So I would upload it into my work Google Drive, and I would then open it up onto the students' iPads. And generally when they're working independently, they're working in little groups at that stage. So they're in a rotation where you may have 5 or 6 iPads going, where you're opening it up for them to be able to save and to work on the file that you've created for them, what activity it is you want them to do. So when you open it up, all you can see is that you would sign into your Google Drive, and you could then see the folders that were available to you. So you might see a notebook there, and you would choose to upload it. The other way that you could do it is you could upload it also onto your iPad and then airdrop it over, so you're seeing that the app is available. So you know here that the airdrop to everyone, you would look for the number of devices, and you would then be able to open it up. Finally, we also know that the website Smart Exchange has a lot of activities and different interactive lessons that are already designed that you could have students really practicing their skills and attempting to try to answer or work through some of the activity tools that are already designed within that. So today, one of the things we want to try to do is think about something you're doing in math. Try to collect a picture, and one way that I collected pictures really is I would just go into my Safari and choose whatever focus I was working on. I'd find a picture, I'd save it, and then I'd open it up within my notebook. So today, one of the tasks that you should try doing is try to bring down something that you are already working on, an activity that you want the students to work on independently. Bring down a picture, attach a sound file to it, and try to see if you can find a way that students can use whatever it is that you're doing to manipulate or represent their thinking, whether they're using the tools down below, whether they're using a graphic that you're using as in, say, an infinite cloner, as I was doing. But see if you can choose one idea, one goal in which the students can work on representing their thinking within Smart Notebook and then sharing that. The other great thing about using Smart Notebook is that you can also project this onto the interactive whiteboard. So you can consolidate thinking, you can annotate what the students' work while you're speaking and discussing with the students around the math concepts, and you can save that for them and revisit it later on.